Welcome back to Squawk. Joining us right now to talk about Iran's attack on Israel over the weekend. Israel's thinking now and what could come next in the Middle East is Dan Senor, former foreign policy advisor in the Bush administration. He, of course, is the co-author of The Genius of Israel and host of the podcast Call Me Back. Good morning to you, Dan. I want to ask you effectively the same question that I asked Richard Engel, which is, what kind of pressure do you believe today exists either on Netanyahu from the people in Israel, from other people in the government, from others, to escalate this war or not?
The way I think about it, in talking to a lot of Israelis over the weekend, including those in government and just regular average Israelis, is the difference between the October 6th mindset in Israel and the October 8th mindset in Israel. The October 6th mindset in Israel, if you look at where the rockets used to come from, which was from the south, from Gaza, from Hamas, which really started to begin in earnest in 2007. Because of the multi-layered missile defense capability that Israel has developed over the years, Israelis got kind of used to these sorts of missile attacks, these rocket attacks, and there was a normalcy to them. You know, that rockets would come, the sirens would go off, people would get alerted on their apps that they needed to go what they call in Hebrew the mamad, which is like their shelter or their safe room. And then the alert would go out that it was safe, and they'd go about their business, and they'd be back at their tech companies, and their cafes and the bars would be bustling again. That became their normalcy. October 7th changed that. This mindset that we can't learn to live with this threat here in Gaza. And so I think the risk with what happened over the weekend is if Israel doesn't respond, is what I'm hearing from Israelis, especially Israeli officials. If Israel does not respond in some way, the kind of attack that Iran launched, that will become the new normal, where Iran can launch, 300 drones, UAVs, and cruise missiles. Israel has amazing defense capabilities. They protect against it. And then Israel just goes back to normal. What's to preclude the next one and the next one and the next one from coming? And there's a real concern that Iran was undeterred, right? The U.S. president said, don't. Literally, in the 48 hours before the attack, he said, don't do it to Iran. The Israeli government said the response would be overwhelming. Iran was undeterred. So Israelis are concerned that if there's no response, there will be more of this. I think that's the difference between pre and post October 7th.
Though, given the advance warning that it appears Iran gave, how much of this was calculated? Meaning, what would happen in an instance where Iran didn't give folks advance warning? Could the Iron Dome effectively hold up? How much of these missiles that were taken down by the Iron Dome? How many were taken down by U.S. forces, by other forces?
So most of it was taken down by the Israeli Air Force, but the Jordanians did a lot to take some of these down. The Brits and the French took some down, and Saudi Arabia played a very important role, not just in helping take some of them down. It was clear that Iran wanted to target this Israeli Air Force base in the south, which is the Air Force base where the F-35 squadron is, where the operation that was launched in Damascus against those Iranian IRGC generals on April 1st was launched from. So the advance warning was important. I mean, I think they still could have taken out most of it without the extent of the advance warning they had, but the advance warning was important. But to be clear, it wasn't just that Iran had telegraphed it was doing it. A number of intelligence agencies, including the U.S., had picked up that Iran was up to this. So I think they had a lot of notice.